Okay, here we go. Now, in the basement, this looks exactly to a T like the game room or like the little arcade within the game where you have to go through and you have to fight the sharks, and you'll notice that this over here, that's the door that leads to Frank Fly, which is like he's like the leader of this underground gang. And just how they've set up all the arcades looks exactly like the screen in Earthbound. So a lot of you guys would really enjoy this reference here. Welcome back, everyone. It's Abdallah here with another exciting Animal Crossing New Horizons Dream Address video. Today's island we're visiting is none other than an Earthbound themed island. Now, some of you guys may have played the Earthbound game on Super Nintendo, or maybe you've even been a fan of Mother 3. Either way, you're going to enjoy this video, and it's going to be so awesome. Thanks so much for coming. Now, speaking of all of you guys on board, thank you for hitting that subscribe button. I would love it if you guys would easily do that if you haven't already. And if you do enjoy these kinds of Dream Address videos, do me a favor and check out the other ones that we've done. We've done a Pokemon Island, we've done a Cannibal Island, we've also done a Silent Hill Island, and many more. So definitely take a look at the playlist in the description below. So here we go. This is going to be the Earthbound Island. Now, usually I go into these islands pretty blind, but this one was so detailed, and I haven't played Earthbound since I was in high school, and I didn't even finish it. I got Pooh, one of the last characters, and yes, his name is Pooh, one of the last characters, and then I just kind of trailed off and didn't get a chance to replay it. So, I enlisted the help of Puffton, and she totally helped me out with getting a whole bunch of references. Now, I do want to leave it to you guys in the comment section to see if you guys can name every single reference that you see within this entire town. Calling all Earthbound fans, right? Anyway, you guys are going to really enjoy this one. So, anyway, I really love the usage of pixel art on top of t-shirts. Now, this looks amazing, right? So you have a backwards facing Ness over here. You've got the cops. Like, this is so cool. And we're going to see a lot of this all throughout this entire area. It's just so spectacular. I've never seen anything like it in any kind of Animal Crossing village before. So, anyway, there's no real flow chart as to how you're supposed to enjoy this island. But there are some different things that happen within the game of Earthbound that we can kind of see happening and reenacted right over here. So this one right over here, this one's going to be the scene with Buzz, Ness, and then we have Pokey and Picky that are on board, and they see Starman Jr. So yeah, very beginning of the game. I love how they were able to put the panels in the background, which is exactly like the battling. So very cute about that one. Just moving around, you'll see a lot of different references. You'll see this guy over here. You'll see a runaway dog enemy, which is super cute. And that's exactly what like the battle screen looks like in Earthbound with that specific enemy. So, yeah, Picky Pokey, Buzz. Yeah, there's just a lot of things over here. So we're just going to go through and we're going to find out what we can see and what we can kind of recognize. There's Ness examining a trash can. Pretty cute. There's also 3 houses in this town that show each one of the rooms as a different scene that happens within the game. And you guys are going to really like it. All right, over here is going to be pretty much their like fast travel teleportation. When you have like all your characters and you learn like the fast travel, you pretty much run across the walkway here, and if you get interrupted, you get burnt like that. So that looks super cool. We're gonna move on this way, and I'll show you some more things. So we'll see some allusions to Paula and her bear, of course, because she's got some psychic powers. There's Paula and a bear there, really cute. We'll also notice that when we come over here on this mountain, we'll find the giant footstep. And then we'll also see these things here, these little pixel things that you have to erase in order to access certain things. You'll also notice like a little Easter egg over here with Undertale and Sans and that character. And there's Papyrus, you can kind of see him there too. So yeah, there's a little Easter egg with that, sure. But anyway, here's a giant foot. Looks pretty great, right? Just like in the game, all the way on top in the mountain. And if you guys were kind of taking a peek over to the other side, you'll kind of see a little bit of Magicant, but we don't really want to get there just yet. Not yet, at least. Let's take a look, a quick spin around the area and see what we have. So anyway, I like that a lot. We can see over here that there's the frog and then the little phone. It's kind of like the game's way of like saving whenever you access that, or, you know, just calling up and seeing what's going on. We've got Ness over here. Pretty cute. We've got some 5 stones over that way. We also see this little scene here with the little bubblegum monkey and Dr. and Donuts. I think that's like Jeff's dad. And then this is the part where you had to like go inside a Stonehenge, and then inside Winters there was like a secret underground area from what I remember on that. So that's kind of cool that they had like this little enacted scene right over here. We're going to move on down even further, and then we'll see even more little references to different games in the Mother franchise. We'll also see over here that this is Lucas, and then his dog, Boney, right over next to their his mother's grave. So kind of a little bit of a Mother 3 reference there. Not really having anything to do with like the original Earthbound on Super Nintendo, but it's cool that they added that in there. Moving down over this way towards the beach, we have the town of Summers, which is kind of cool. I like the concept of it because we have a whole bunch of things on here that kind of show that. We've got the Kraken enemy right over here. We'll also see another little beach section in the lower corner where we can see, like, I think that's like, is that like Paula's mom or something? Like in a cake or something? Yeah, I don't know. Building sandcastles in Summers is pretty much this scene right over here. We'll also see over here that you have the boss battle with the Kraken. That looks great. You got the back of Jeff over here. It looks really interesting. I like it. All of you guys that are Earthbound fans, you're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly all this stuff over here. So before we actually go inside the houses, I do want to like just take a look around and just show you, like, all these little sprites are just everywhere on these blank t-shirts. And they look amazing. So these are the members of the Sharks. We can see that over here. The Sharks was some sort of gang, and you had to deal with them inside like a game club, and we'll show you something like that soon. This one was, yeah, this one, according to my notes, is like the Escargot Express, where if you have your teammates, you can talk to this guy and he can help deliver some items. This is apparently the mayor of Onet over here with the little phone in his desk, and he's got a little Mr. Saturn lamp. There's a lot of cool things. Now, I do want to head on over here. This is the cops. We kind of showed you the cop scene earlier. I want to show you guys some more things. There's Ness and Paula just kind of walking around. Let's see. How do we get over? Yeah, here we go. This seems to be some sort of Berglund Park, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I was taking notes on like all sorts of different things. Like, I don't remember going that far in the game when I played it. But I do remember Mr. Saturn Village, and that's exactly what this place is. Where we've got the different vending machines. You got Mr. Saturn in the trash can. You got Mr. Saturns all over the place. The Mr. Saturn little outfits. They're pretty much everywhere. Mr. Saturn fishing over here. They even went as far as to include the Mr. Saturn hot springs. And apparently in the game there's a hot springs that you go to, and then Mr. Saturn can offer Ness some drinks. Yeah, so I loved how they did this. This is absolutely awesome. Right over here is Ness and Paula and Dr. and Donuts, and they have the phase distorter, which allows them to travel through time, which is kind of fun. And yeah, it's just a way of storytelling it. And a Mr. Saturn of volleyball, so like really, really cute. And there's a Mr. Saturn just chilling on the beach. Mr. Saturn, man, breaking shields, right, in Super Smash Bros. All right, other than that, I do want to show you that there's a couple things on the exterior over here. This one's going to be Rope Snake from Mother 3. Little Easter egg there before we get too far. And then here's another Mr. Saturn just doing some fishing. It looks like he caught a gigantic fish right over that way. So I like this town. I do. It makes me really want to go through and play the Earthbound series, at least on Super Nintendo, right? Like, just go through, play it. And if they ever go about localizing Mother 3, then maybe we'll do something like that. Anyway, so here's Ness and Paula and then her little stuffed bear. Very, very cute. Here's a shady guy in the back alley with some money that you have to get inside the game in order to pay off some debts. And now I think it's time to take a look at the different houses. So according to the map, and trust me, there's a lot of good scenes in this too. There's 3 different houses, and we'll go over with one of the first ones, which is going to be right down this way. So let me know if you recognize any of these scenes. I love the back sprites too. The back sprites of all the kids just kind of walking in a row, because that's exactly what they look like. So cute. All right, moving on. So this one's going to be one of our first houses. And inside this house, we'll be able to see the rock band group, the Runaway Five. And then we've got the lead singer over here. So this looks really cool. Like, these are actual characters inside Earthbound. So I was very happy to see that. And then I hear like the lead singers were modeled off of Mario and Luigi. Is that right? So the bigger guy right over here in front and the skinnier guy. Could be. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. So I think that's really exciting that they just were able to reenact that spot. This one right over here is the bike shop. Very early on the game where Ness can get a bike. So kind of cute. You got the little bike shop salesman as a sprite. You got Ness over here. Very exciting. So our next room over here to the north is going to be pretty much paying homage to the very first Earthbound title, which is called Mother. And you can see in that picture right over here, there's a picture of Ness and Ninten, which was the generic default character of Mother. And you can see that a lullaby is being played in the background right now as an allusion to, you know, beating the final boss. So I think that was actually really cool. So interesting. How many guys have played Mother? I have not. So one day, maybe. All right, our next room to the east over here is about the Apple Kid. There's an Apple Kid and there's an Orange Kid in the game. And Apple Kid, they're inventors. They help you out throughout various quests. And you can see over here that we also have the no-named mouse. So that's kind of cute. Like the little mouse is there. You got your apple. And like the music really sounds like 8-bitty, kind of tinkery, you know? I like that. Okay, here we go. Now in the basement, this looks exactly to a T like the game room or like the little arcade within the game where you have to go through and you have to fight the sharks, and you'll notice that this over here, that's the door that leads to Frank Fly, which is like he's like the leader of this underground gang. And just how they've set up all the arcades looks exactly like the screen in Earthbound. So a lot of you guys would really, really enjoy this reference here. So I like that. The sharks and Frank Fly. There's another reference to Frank Fly right on the outside of this house, so I'll show you that in a little bit. But before we go, let's take a look at the top area. And this top area is going to be reminiscent of the area called Dusty Dunes. And Dusty Dunes is an area where there's these three dudes, and these three dudes are the Slot Machine Brothers. They're named Pincho, Pancho, and Thomas Jefferson. Sure. And you can play their slot machine, and you could win some different items. Now we'll also notice over here little green creatures. These green creatures are called the Tendas from the Tenda village. And you see a whole bunch of books over here because that's a reference to when you have to give the leader a book of how to overcome shyness in the game. So yeah, pretty interesting. I like it. I like it. Why one of those guys is named Thomas Jefferson is completely beyond me, but nonetheless, really fun. Okay, so one of the references that I was talking about was the Frank Fly, and that's right over here, this battle, and you can see him right on board with Ness just doing that battle there, and then you can see that he has his tank, which was something, yeah, the Frankenstein, something like that, Frankenstein Mark II. Interesting. Boss battle. So that's kind of like the boss battle being reenacted over there. So let's go take a look at the second house that's available, which is going to be right around the corner over here. So we're going to go inside here and we're going to see all sorts of different scenes from the Earthbound game. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. Okay, this one right over here is the Scaraba Desert. The Scaraba Desert, there's a little puzzle that you have to solve, then you go inside the Sphinx, and then you continue on with the entire story over there. So I like the inclusion of the Sphinx over there. There's a little bazaar, and you can see all these guys like selling different things. So yeah, this one is cool, and it like fits the theme because there was a desert in Earthbound, and you know, putting a pyramid, throwing those little NPC designs over there, really cool. This one right over here was when Paula was kidnapped by Mr. Carpainter, and then you had to pretty much rescue her out of there, so hence her being behind bars. So yeah, she had her little bear and whatnot, so I like that. Very detailed, right? Like, The little sprites on the t-shirt is such a genius idea. Man, why didn't I think of that? Anyway. So we're going to go up over here. This top area is going to be based off of a character called the Hint Man. And the Hint Man in Earthbound, you would go up to him and he would give you a hint of what you needed to do next on his little hint booth over here. So I think that's actually really, really cool that they just included that over there. I mean, like, what else are you going to throw on one of the little rooms, right? All right, the next area is right over here. This one is going to be based off of the Stonehenge base, where pretty much all these characters, you can see the, what is this, like Orange Man, Little Apple Man, we got the Professor, Mr. Saturn's. Everyone's pretty much kidnapped and thrown into different, like, test tube looking vials in this area. And it's up to Ness to go through and battle against Starman Deluxe, which is this guy right over here, in order to free everyone. So I think this was really well made. You have like the little science lab background. You've got a really creepy song in the back. And it just looks like absolutely stunning. They got the little test tube things with the little lava lamps there. That looks awesome, especially if you see the screens from Earthbound. All right, so that one was good. Let's go take a look at the last area, which is going to be the final house. There's only 3 houses here. Not every single house has like all the rooms built, but nonetheless, it's still pretty good. All right, so we're gonna come over this way and head to this house here. Okay, so this house right over here, this one's going to be a restaurant in the area of Summers, where we're gonna see the photo guy. And the photo guy, he always, takes a picture to commemorate the specific time or where you're at throughout the game. And then Ness goes over here, he does a little peace sign, and the guy tells him, like, hey, say Fuzzy Pickles. And you get a little keepsake of what exactly happened. So this is exactly that. So you got your teammates over here, all within Summers, taking a picture with the little picture guy. So cute. Cute little restaurant, right? Because, like, what else are you going to make in Animal Crossing? Make a restaurant. All right, this one's going to be one of the early shops that you have access to in the very beginning of the game. You can see the dog over there, some other random NPC shopper, and then the shopkeep. So, kind of cute. Okay, this area is right over inside the boss battle between Mr. Carpainter, where you have to save Paula. So you'll also see in the back, that's the Manny Manny statue. And apparently the Manny Manny statue has a lot of different power that a lot of people like to seek and try to harness, and it makes people evil and potentially corrupt. So yeah, I like this. The boss battle sounds great. The music, very, very kind of creepy. Yes. Happy, happy village. Okay, and then the side room is Masterlch. Masterlch is this weird-looking pile of vomit, and this is pretty much where he's got his own factory, and he enslaves the Mr. Saturn people to make fly honey. And I think that that's very clever that they use the clay in order to signify, like, that's like a piece of fly honey. So yeah, I like this one a lot. The allusion to this is super cool. And then, of course, you've got the teammates on board here, who also help out with beating up the gigantic Masterlch. All right, this is going to be the last room, and this is kind of like final bossy end game spoilers. You'll notice over here that you have your entire team of Ness, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh, and then they're pretty much battling the heavily armored Porky, which is this character right over here. And you'll also notice the design all the way across the floor is pretty much Gygus. And you can see his influence over pretty much everything. So this one actually looked pretty good. Good music. I think the lighting was very necessary for this. Yeah, go for it. Okay, and then the last area that I'm going to show you guys is right over here. It's kind of like towards the end of the game where you go across into Ness's mind, into his dreamscape, and it's called an area of Magicant. And there's zombies, of course, which is what this is over here. He sees the Flying Man. If you guys have played Super Smash Bros., you guys know this character as like a little assist in the level of Magicant. He just jump kicks and does a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, we'll see all of Ness's kind of distant memories. We'll see these different snowmen guys. There were also NPCs over here. We have all of his friends. We have Ness's little sister, Tracy, and just a whole bunch of things that kind of reminisce this. And if you guys have seen the Magicant in Earthbound, you'll notice that these patterns are like legit the exact patterns. I mean, the entire area just looks so amazing. We can see all sorts of things. This one's kind of funny because in the Japanese version of Earthbound, Ness is actually naked in certain parts of his dreams. Whereas in the localized version of Earthbound that got released outside of Japan, he was in pajamas. So there's a little nod to that, which is super funny. So we'll also see the Sea of Eden over here. This is pretty much his family, his mom, his dog. And the last area right over here is pretty much the one of the final scenes in the game where after you beat the final boss, you just come around, the cameraman snaps your picture for one final Fuzzy Pickles, and you have all the NPCs in the background. So it's cool. And I like that we kind of saved this for the very end. What did you guys think of the entire Earthbound island? I thought this was great. Honestly, I've never seen anything like that before in any kind of island visit where you take some sprites from Super Nintendo and you just put them on white t-shirts and you kind of just make them there, right? Like, I can care less if it's on a t-shirt. I can now see these things and I'm seeing the storytelling. And I'm sure that, you know, all of you guys that are Earthbound fans, you picked up on way more details. So let me know in the comments if you saw any other details that I may have glossed over. But anyway, I think it looks amazing, and I really wish that you guys would come over here and visit it. Definitely do so. So thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the Earthbound video, by all means, make sure that you share it with a fan of Earthbound or a fan of someone that is into pixel art. Because I can only imagine that if someone did something like this with, like, Pokemon or another 8-bit game or 16-bit, 32-bit game, that would be really cool to see. Utilizing the white t-shirts and pixel art. Do it. It's amazing. All right, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.